Hi, are you ready for class? Have you already finished your homework? No? Not yet? Was yesterday okay? Alright, let's go ahead and move on with the lesson. So you know what the formulas are for we have three formulas for geometry. We have the parameters. Do you know what those are? Good. Does anybody else have anything to add to that? So peri is the measurement overall. It's going to be the sides. So when we do this, we're going to be measuring each side. And it's the calculation of the total parameter. You know, in a farm, you have the gate, and you could measure all of those. That's an example of where you might need to know this equation. You need to know how much fencing you need to buy so you know if you can cover the space that you have. Now we're going to discuss the area. What is the area used for? Oh, good. It's going to be the inside. That's the area. In what's inside the lines, the total of the total space inside the lines. What could it be used for? Carpet is an example. Oh, perfect example. Anybody else? You know, like these tiles, any kind of flooring. Good, y'all are good students. Good examples. Oh, yes, for the roofing measurements, to figure out the area of that. So for the third, that's going to be the volume. Yes. Ah, that. So that's going to be the from the sides of the container or object and the height. It's going to be the entire space within the object. So for parameter, we have two different equations. We have width, as in W, and then L, which stands for length. So the length is going to be what I just pointed to. Understand that the top line and the bottom line are going to be the same length. And the side lines are both going to be the same width. There are different ways to solve parameters. This is one of them. What are the other ways that you can figure it out? Do you know this way? Anybody else? Here's an example. These two equations mean the same thing. Yes. Oh, good. All three of these mean the same. Did you have something to say? No? Okay. So when we look at the parameter, now we're going to go to the area. How do you figure out the area? You multiply the length and the width. There are not any other ways to solve this. This is really the only one equation. For parameter, we have three, but for area, you just multiply it. So this one side is 5, and the length is 5, and the width is 3. So when we multiply that, that's what it's going to look like, 15 feet squared. Do you know why it's squared? Because we have 2 lengths and we have 2 widths. So we know it's going to be squared. Okay, now for volume, we have the length, plus we have the width, and we have the height. And we have to multiply all 3 of those. Again, there's no other equation for this. Similar to area, we're just going to have 1. Again, for perimeter, we'll have 3. And whichever one for perimeter, whichever formula you're comfortable with is the one that you can use. It doesn't matter. So how much for this problem? How much is the perimeter? How do you know it's 12? You added all of them? Good. Yes, it is 16 feet. Okay, what about the area? When you multiply it, what's the answer? 3 times 5 is 15, right? 15 feet. Good, thank you. It's squared. Again, we have the 2 lengths and the 2 widths, which is going to make it squared. And for the volume, when you take the height, the width, and the length and multiply it, it's going to look like. Which number is going to be the length? This one. So you're going to substitute 5 for the length. What about width? It's right here. Yes, you're going to substitute 6. 3. You're going to substitute 3. And for the height, you're going to substitute 6. And the word for when you take the L and you exchange it with a number is going to be substitute. You know when you're in basketball and you have a player and they are injured on the court, you take another player that replaces their spot? It's going to be like that, just like that. Okay, so solve this. Good. Man, you guys are on it today. 5 times 3 is 15, times 6 is 90 centimeters. 90 centimeters, that's raised to the 3rd degree.